Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Lockdown Literature, courtesy of the Studio Online and the National Lottery Community Fund. You are about to listen to a selection of audio stories gathered together during the COVID-19 lockdown from both the adults and children's write-on sessions. So relax, settle back, and enjoy a selection of writing from some of the finest creative minds at the studio. Counting Syllables by Bradshaw.
Oi! Muppet! You want to look where you're going? Tone. Not even remotely friendly. And to my ear lacked the fundamental understanding of how easily these things can happen. And do. Sorry, mate, I say. World of me own. We hadn't actually collided. There was no physical contact. It looked more than it was. It hardly helped that he promptly began waving his arms about like a man chasing away two wasps at once. A monumental fuss over a nothing fluster. We could have both burst out laughing and tripped a few steps of an impromptu tango before waltzing away into the rest of our respective lives, amused and uplifted. It's not like either of us was carrying eggs or anything. Some people, he mutters, loud enough for his bemused exasperation to come flooding through. Some people, though it's obvious he's referring to just the one. A null incident. Nothing at all. But it stayed with me. Up to now, anyway. I can imagine him telling it to his mates, none of whom have had a word in for the last 10 minutes. I hear his "some people" as he shakes his head slowly, lips smacking and the air rushing between tutting teeth as he lifts the glass to his mouth at the same time as stooping to meet it. I've decided he's the sort who always asks for a glass with an handle and announces things like, "I don't start trouble, I finish it." Oh, for crying out loud, forget it. I look up at the trees as I pass beneath their sunlit awning, birds flitting between the branches like kids playing free-form hopscotch. There's a woodpecker nearby, or at least near enough to be louder than you'd think, but I can't see it. It sounds fine, but if a neighbour made a noise like that, you'd call the police, or an ambulance or something. There are lots of people walking their dogs, or maybe dogs walking their people, stopping, chatting, comparing breeds, ages, habits, and whatever other mongrel tidbits of information they trade in, like single parents at the school gates, vicariously proud of their curious offspring. He got an A in art. Well, you can't spell it without one. I have errands to run, and as I saunter through the park, I start to work out the batting order. No point crisscrossing yourself unless, of course, you're not bothered. I'm not sure if I am or not, so I guess not. As for me, well, here goes. I wouldn't say I'm old, exactly. It's a well-known fact that old begins at 10 years older than whatever age I happen to be. Young people, however, think I am. They'll learn. So will I, let's suppose. When I think of what I've been through, things I've done and things that have been done to me, I don't feel half as ravaged as another might under the circumstances. Then again, circumstances are never really the same, are they? Even when they are. I have my little quirks, perfectly normal to me, I assure you. For example, I never walk past a skip without looking in. The things that get thrown away I find bewildering. One man's meat is another man's fully working sandwich maker, still in its slightly damaged box. Recycling. A load of rubbish lately, mind. It's the recession. We always say the, never a recession, as if this present one was anything more than the latest in a smoke and mirror series. Still, times is hard. What else can I tell you? I hate it whenever anyone uses the expression these days. Pig ignorance, in my view, a forlorn waste of the faculty of understanding. These days matches up with that's the main thing, and I don't blame you. I could go on, but what's the point? You're either singing to the choir or just casting your pearls. Is that something to do with knitting? As for the rest, what do you care what I look like? It's not an identity parade. Mobility scooters everywhere. What did these people do before their mass invasion of our streets? Stay in? Maybe. Mind you, kids can walk and have scooters and skateboards, so why not if it appeals? I've seen a couple done up like Hell's Angels hogs. Don't ask me what I think of that, John. My answer would Fleetwood Mac you. I once heard a Spanish woman who had recently been to London relating the fact that, to her apparent astonishment, people eat just walking along the street. You can barely find a pie in Spain. They don't go in for food that's designed to keep you warm. No need. I once saw someone eating fish and chips while sitting on the edge of a rubbish bin. This struck me as a singularly disgusting place to choose for a meal. What made it doubly so was the fact that, once finished, they casually stood up, dropped their paper, plastic tray and fork onto the floor beside the bin and strolled off back into their wonderful carefree world of fashion. Ridiculous. You couldn't make it up. I didn't. It's warmer than I thought, though the truth is I didn't think at all. Just threw my coat on automatically as I was leaving the house. Now I'm sweltering and it weighs a ton. Lovely day. I take it off, slip my finger through the little hoop, let it drape down my back, and immediately become Frank Sinatra or one of his many imitators. I don't sing though, not these days. Do you blame me? What with the recession and all? Right, there's not exactly any rush, but I put a bit of a step on. I like to do a bit of shopping before my weekly appointments. Not much, just a couple of items, a bit of food or toilet roll, say. I like to have it with me when I arrive. It shows them that I'm not neglecting the little things in life, not forgetting to brush my teeth and that. I won't mention the waspy guy. They don't like me to dwell on things and I don't want to upset them. They all mean so well. Even if it is just a job, and who knows, this time next month they could be just as diligent about stray cats. Shit, I needn't have bought toilet roll. I've got all them napkins from the buffet yesterday. That was nice. I had a really good time. At one point I got a little bit too thoughtful, but I'm happy to say not sentimental. I got drunk without getting too drunk. I even had a little dance. I am divine when I dance, though I'm the only one that knows this. I catch myself in the sports shop window and am reminded to arrange my features into my weekly persona. Virtual inner makeup, not too bright, but not dull either. Strike a balance. I hope it's not Andrew. He's okay, but he must call me mate 100 times per session, and he says it as if we really are. He trips over himself occasionally, and I do my best to catch him. He'll be the same with stray cats or the latest broadband or wherever he ends up after here. And here we are. Well, I am. You can stay or go as you please. There's free coffee if you want any. Have as much as you like. They don't mind. I fancy the angel on reception, but I'm old enough to be her first divorcee. Is there an age limit on Lothario? Who am I kidding? Not her for sure. I won't say her name. People are always gabbing and gossiping, and I don't want any kind of comeback. I'm trying to get off this hook. I picture them in the pub or huddled round nicotine corner at work. Can you imagine it? I overhear one say, and the guffaws cut me to the bone. No comeback at all. I want to be off their grid completely. I'm hoping today brings the announcement of fortnightly appointments from now on. Monthly even. A lot of cutbacks lately. It's an ill wind. Here they go. Come in if you want. Hiya, chimes the soul-stirring voice of my nameless beauty. I say, and hello to you too. She is lovely. Lovely, she is. Andrew's not in today. He's on a course, she lilts on. Oh, I breathe, and ask if he's off playing golf somewhere. I smile. So does she. Lovely. Actually, she says, serious face now, it's caused a bit of a backlog, I'm afraid. There might be a bit of a wait. I wait. Just a second or two. Never too keen. Fatal. Before I offer to come back another day if that suits them better. Flexible, see? Even if it means Andrew after all. She says she'll just check. That means the answer will be no. Whenever people check with a colleague, the answer is no. I read somewhere or other that a certain Chinaman once defined a committee as an animal with 4 back legs. Shared responsibility is often to take no responsibility at all. She's back, too quick for success, and the answer is no. Only a 20-minute wait. What can you do in 20 minutes? Nothing. So I wait. I'd noticed before, but never truly appreciated what a horrible colour these walls are. It's amazing they're all so cheerful. I've never gone in for graffiti, but who's to say what a new leaf would bring? I count the toilet rolls and time passes. No clock in sight. Small mercies. Even so, I've been here barely 5 minutes and already feel like I've sat here repeatedly my whole life. I won't mention the walls. They don't always understand the little things. The charming voice of my darling receptionist swells anew. Mr. Adams, Ball, Carter, Davis, Evans, Flynn, whoever, you can go in now. Minutes gone, seconds out, round 1. I go in. It's all very brisk and cheerful. So, Gordon, Henry, Ivan, Jeremiah, Kevin, Louis, how are we today? I love that we and the way it implies a communality of purpose to our mutual presence here, as if we were 2 prisoners who've just woken up befuddled in the same cell. I reply, I'm fine, but I know I'm not going to get away with that. Chance would be a fine, fine thing. You notice I've omitted my own name. For all the good it will do, that is for your benefit. I'm not going to mention his or her name either, so don't bother waiting. How did the wedding go? He or she asks casually, as if he or she hadn't reminded herself or himself of it in the notes from last week's meeting only moments before I was called in. I tell her, okay then, her. It was fine. Obviously my word of the day today. Naturally, I don't mention the drink, the dancing, or the napkins. Strike a balance. I even stoop so low as to comment on the dress and the cake. Praise the music. Speak in tongues, whatever language they understand. I mean, how long ago do you think this person qualified to be employed in this capacity? Exactly. We all need a little help sometimes. How are the headaches? She inquires. I answer, they're over at their grandparents' for the day. This attempt at humour goes whizzing over her head like a demented frisbee. I try to retrieve the situation and make a hash of it. How was I to know? She didn't so much as groan, never mind laugh. I'm losing the balance. Strike one. And you're keeping up with the medication, she ploughs on, apparently regardless. I barely manage not to answer her in the breathless tones of a commentator reporting on a sprint, but I do manage and say, "Fine, no bother, regular as clockwork." Why is everything so fine today? Change the record, off the record. I give a hopeful smile. She purses her lips into one that is, if not hopeless, then certainly less hopeful than mine. I'm not sure why, but this is beginning to feel disastrous. Where's my mate Andrew when you need him? Off clubbing a poor little ball to death on the links, the murderous sod. In the newspaper report, his neighbours said, "He was a quiet sort, not the kind you'd expect." We're all shocked. These days. As often happens in our little talks, I wish we could start again. But really, just start again. You get the same response from all or any of them if you display the least trace of anger or frustration. They've all done the course, and that was the bit they all paid special attention to. Never forget there's just the two of you in that room, no matter what. Even Andrew has a reverse gear. I should have said yes to that cup of tea. It feels too late now. I could kill for one. Never say kill, it sets them off. The rest is a bit of a blur, if I'm honest. If you want a description of it, just pick any words you like. They all fit in somewhere. And then suddenly, she's tidying up her notepads and whatnots in that way which says unmistakably that as far as she is concerned, this meeting is over. 20 minutes early too. Hallelujah. Must be the backlog. No such luck. She leans her head out of the door and softly speaks a name which I don't catch. An unknown person walks in and... Look, I'm not being coy or secretive or anything at all. The simple fact is, I don't care what their name is. I care about what got said, that's all. The faceless face of bureaucracy. That's how I think of them, and that will have to do. Mr. glances at clipboard. Adams, Ball, Carter, Davis, Evans, Flynn, whoever. We've been looking at your case. Ominous words from Faceless. I could give you the gist, but I'm still filling bits of myself, not to mention the endless forms. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. I'm to attend a specially arranged assessment. They make it sound like a surprise birthday party. If I don't attend, I'll be summarily guillotined at half-time during the local footy team's next home match or something of that, as they say, ilk. I have, it turns out, been deemed. After careful consideration and so forth, in accordance with etc., subject A, B, C, D, E, F, whoever, is deemed fit for work, stamp and sign. The quick chat pre-assessment assessment ensues. What type of work? I tell them that I would like to start by walking daily through the park, putting things right. I think the first thing you need to do is I hold up a hand, like Superman stopping a train, rip open the packet and hand him a toilet roll. Here, take one, I say. I have serviettes for my arse.